classmates passed away to be with God every day. They sit at desks resting on clouds, surrounded by angelic crowds, where they shall be forevermore the friends and schoolmates we adore. They'll be with us in every prayer until the day we join them there, within the walls of heaven's class, where friendships formed shall always last. Until that hour we join again, an empty chair we will maintain, in honor of the lifelong bond we forged with those now passed beyond. The friends with whom we learn life's truth, whose bond lasted far from our youth, and shall remain forever near when we gather year after year. I'd like to now name those people that we remember. Barry Waldy, Connie Heaton, Diane Dyson, Brian Reister, Lori Hahn, Nancy Glau, and Barry Lockmiller. If we could just have a moment of silence. Thank you. I think when I started out, I said that, yeah, that's good. When I started, I said I wanted to thank everybody, and actually that's not entirely true. There are some people that I do not want to thank. And I would like to name those people specifically. I know that it's actually been 30 years, and I may leave out a couple of names, but I remember these people just like it was yesterday. And that would be Todd Bruce, John Hayden, Sherry Kirsch, Tim Kernan, Brad Milo, John Minen, Doyle Larson, and Todd Keating. And that was because I remember they came kind of as a group to me, and they said, "Hey, Craig, guess what? You know who's running for class president?" I said, "Well, I think that Lori Turner is." And I said, "I think she'd be really good." And they said, "We're going to get Joe to run." All of them voted for Joe. And I find out 30 years later that elections do have consequences. Because usually the class president is the one that is up there and it's me. So, I mean, Joe said, "Craig," he said, "you can go ahead and do it." And I don't care what you say, as long as I don't have to say anything. So I can't say that since I have never voted for a Democrat, that is the only vote that I ever regretted making. A theme for tonight, I really have no theme. I really have nothing. I kind of thought that it would be about what I've learned in 30 years, and in reality it's kind of like what I should have known in 30 years, or things that I wish I know, but I don't know. And so that's kind of where we're going to go. But I will let you know that I do kind of have a adage that I go by, and that is that if you can't laugh at yourself, you make fun of other people. I would like to start out with just a little survey, and that would just be is how many of you are older than your parents were when you graduated high school? I can help you out. I mean, I was in advanced math. I was with Mr. Jaycox, very good teacher. But this is our 30-year reunion, is that my dad is 77 now, so you subtract 30. That means he was 47 when I graduated. I am now 48. So I must raise my hand. So does anybody else? Jane, you have a very...
Not in your math class.
Okay. So is anybody else older than what their parents were on the day that you graduated high school? That has to be a lot of hands. Do you remember what you thought of your parents when you graduated high school? Our kids now think that of us. And... that makes me sad. And I think the biggest thing I probably learned after 30 years is that my parents have gotten a lot smarter in 30 years. Because I didn't think that they were very smart when I was a senior in high school. But I certainly think that way today. Something else that I've learned, I think, in 30 years is that 48-year-old women are beautiful. And just to keep things at my house, Cindy, 46-year-old women are beautiful too. I've also learned that it's incredible that women can look at men that are slightly balding, maybe a little bit of a beer belly, maybe a bigger beer belly. and think that that man is attractive. Thank God for that. Because I mean, one of the things about growing older that I saw was that losing your hair. I mean, for a man, that to me it was disappointing to see that. I think as we read the names of the people that we started, I kind of look at it now as you're proud of the fact that you lived long enough to lose your hair. So I've kind of changed my perspective on it as I've gotten older. I mean, because when I was younger, I really liked my hair. I mean, not the way John Swanson loved his hair. And one thing that Cindy and I have done in our house to kind of, we know we can't stop the aging process, but we got rid of all the mirrors in our house. We have no mirrors. And so the only people that we see getting older is just the other person. So in my mind, see, I'm not aging, just my wife is aging. And my wife is the same thing. So sometimes we sit around and wonder why we're hanging out with such an old-looking person. We don't go to public restrooms, so we don't want to see no mirrors, no mirrors. So you people, that's an option for you. One thing I did do in preparing for this is I went back and looked at our old yearbook to see all of our great accomplishments and things that we did, and there was none in here. I couldn't find anything, but I kind of looked through the yearbook maybe differently than I have before. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but we actually have a theme. You guys know that? We had a theme. And I didn't know that, but it says the images of the 1980-81 school year were filled with many moments of our school life, ranging from all the school activities, along with the deadlines to meet on daily assignments, final class projects, tests, and research papers. Now, I didn't meet all those deadlines. Did you guys meet all those deadlines? Because I did not meet all those deadlines. It says dances, concerts, plays, field trips, and sports activities will be a time for us to do much reflections upon in future years. This is our future years, and when I reflect back, I guess, on high school, I can think of drinking beer on gravel roads, Mad Dog 2020, and Ozark Mountain Daredevils. None of that's mentioned in the book. It says the kids say the year was very busy and enjoyable for us. Speak for yourself. It wasn't enjoyable for everybody. And it says there were also many opportunities for everyone to become involved in school life if anyone chose to do so. I mean, that's kind of snooty, isn't it? If anyone chose, well, maybe I chose not to. So that was our theme, and when I thought about the theme, I'm like, who in the world would have put together kind of a lame type of a theme? And so I looked back to see who were the editors of our Great Monarch yearbook, and it was Dave Saul and Dave Logesser. That's that. Something else I saw that I didn't even know, but we had a medical careers club. I didn't even know we had a medical careers club. And evidently Debbie didn't either because you were not a member. We had two doctors in our class, and you and Dave Saul both became doctors, and neither one of them were in the medical careers club. Proving that you don't have to be in the medical careers club to have a medical career. But I did see that the medical careers club was all girls, and if I had known that, maybe I would have been. I did not see my wife in there, no. I did see, we have something here on honor students, national honors. Okay, that's right, national honors, we'll skip that. I wasn't in that, so we're going to skip that. We had a foreign exchange student, Raul Gonzalez. And if you don't know, he stayed in Denison and multiplied very, very quickly. Never left. And I didn't remember, but we had a mock wedding.
Yeah.
And it was Marlene Weinbrand and Steve Hawes, and even says your ushers were Craig Dozark and Holly Hansen. So I didn't even remember actually being an usher in it. But did anybody remember who the priest was?
Doyle Larson.
Stuart Marsh. Executives very much. psychologically, because he has never come back since that time. No, we have no idea. This I did not know. The girls probably would know that, but 1980-81, our senior year, was the first year that they offered high school volleyball in Denison. I did not remember that, but looking back, like I said, the girls want to remember that. I see that Don Reddle was the coach, and I'm sure he never put that on his resume in any future jobs that he applied for. But because if we went to play Maple Valley or Manila, we'd have never won. Something else. This could be racy, I'm not sure. But this all kind of depends on how you read this. But if you look at this, I don't know if you guys can read this, but it says, "Watch those balls, girls." However you might take that. And then it says up above, it says, "Brooke Cranston was selected as the most valuable player." Scholarship and award winners, and they have then the different pictures of everybody that won an award. They really just could have had one picture of Tom Clements and just said, "I won them all." That's basically what happened. But that, my friends, is 1981. That's what I found when I looked at it. One thing I've kind of done over my, I don't want to say career, but I guess over my life, is that Cindy and I will actually be married 28 years in just a few weeks. But as you're married and you hang out with other married couples and that sort of stuff, you kind of hear things that husbands and wives say back and forth to each other. And it's kind of exciting. I kind of remember those, and I jot them down and put them in my mind for in case I may ever need them. But and I actually may need them tonight. So I'm actually going to do a little bit of a he said, she said. He said, "I don't know why you wear a bra. You've got nothing to put in it." She said, "You wear briefs, don't you?" And that kind of reminds me of a story. Is that, I mean, 1981 did something that my dad never could do, and that was to actually get me somebody that's like a brother to me, and that would be Todd. And so I've been friends with Tracy since 4th grade, and after I guess I tell the story that may be over. But Tracy one time came to me and said something to me in strict confidence. So I apologize. But she said, Tracy said, I remember the first time that Todd and I made love, and he was standing there in front of me in his birthday suit. And Tracy said, I looked at him and I said, "Who do you plan to satisfy with that?" And Todd looked at her, gave her a wink, and said, "Me." He said, "Do you love me just because my father left me a fortune?" She said, "Not at all, honey. I would love you no matter who left you the money." Which kind of reminds me of a story. And that is, I heard something last year that I thought maybe I would never hear in my life. I mean, along with, I hope someday I could hear that the Super Bowl champion Minnesota Vikings. Probably not going to hear that ever in my life. But last year I had a minister turn to a crowd and say, "I would like to present to you Mr. and Mrs. Doyle Larson." And last year Doyle actually got married. And I asked her, I said, "Why in the world did you wait so long to get married?" And he said, "Well, I was waiting for the perfect woman." And I said, "Well, how do you know you have the perfect woman?" He said, "Because Connie told me she was." So I guess as men, we just need to wait for the woman to tell us. So I guess that bears the question is, does that mean someday we will hear, "I give to you Mr. and Mrs. Tim Kernan"? Ryan Vogt? Probably not going to happen. He said, "This coffee isn't fit for a pig." She said, "No problem, I'll get you some that is." She said, "What do you mean by coming home half drunk?" He said, "It's not my fault, I ran out of money." Which reminds me, Mr. Hayden, Isn't it true that sometimes that 12th beer tastes just as good as the first one? He said, since I first laid eyes on you, I wanted to make love to you in the worst way. She said, well, you succeeded. Bree said, I don't think you'll ever find another man like your late husband. And she said, who's going to look? He said, you have a flat chest and need to shave your legs. Have you ever been mistaken for a man? She said, no. Have you? He said, why do you women always try to impress us with your looks and not your brains? She said, because there's a bigger chance that a man is a moron than he is blind. He said, what have you been doing with all the grocery money I gave you? She said, turn sideways and look in the mirror. See, that doesn't work at our house. This one actually did happen at our house. Is that just a couple of weeks ago, I told Cindy, I said, hey, let's go out and have some fun tonight. And she said, okay, but if you get home before I do, leave the hallway light on. So there you go. A little bit of he said, she said. I know as a parent, I think quite a few of us are parents, but I mean, how many of us are extremely proud of our children? I think it seems like our children have attained, and there's so much more opportunities for kids today, and when you see them reach for those goals and attain those goals, that you're awful proud as a parent. And I think that probably begs the question is that just how disappointed were our parents in us? Maybe that's just speaking for myself, but it is kind of amazing when you take a look at that. And what I wanted to take a look at now is maybe world events. What was going on in 1981? 1981, United States population 230 million. I think today it's over 300 million. Life expectancy was 74.1 years. Right now it's about 79 years, which means it's going to be a year after our 60th class reunion. You know, I kind of wish it would have been 77, so maybe we could go out the year before. Looks like it's the year after. Political stuff we see right now in the news as far as spending is concerned. Federal spending in 1981 was $678 billion. Today it's over $3.5 trillion. Our federal debt that they're talking about, trying to raise it, right now it's capped at $14.3 trillion, and they want to raise the cap. In 1981, it was not even $1 trillion. It was $994.8 billion. So it's raised over 14 times in just those 30 years. So when people say they don't have a spending problem in Washington, they're lying. They have a spending problem in Washington. Movies, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Chariots of Fire, On Golden Pond, Reds, Atlantic City. Some stuff in science. AIDS is first identified. IBM introduces its first personal computer running on MS-DOS, and FDA approved the use of artificial sweetener NutraSweet. Best actor was Henry Fonda. Best actress was Katharine Hepburn.
Oh my God.
That makes you feel old. TV shows were Dallas and Real People. Songs at that time, 9 to 5, I Love a Rainy Night, Betty Davis Eyes, Endless Love, Best That You Can Do, Celebration, Physical, Keep on Loving You, Kiss on My List, The One That You Love, You Don't Know Me. And Rubik's Cube came out that year. Something that I found is kind of weird, actually, but top 5 foods were Campbell's soup, Maxwell House coffee, Folgers coffee, Star-Kissed tuna, and chicken of the sea tuna. So our parents were drinking coffee and feeding us tuna. Evidently, that's the conclusion that I can get from that. And an ad for Clairol hairspray said, takes the lymph out and puts the body in, which now could be an natural Viagra. It's changed in 30 years, maybe it hasn't changed that much. Like I told you at the beginning, is that I kind of have, one thing I think you learn is that when you graduate from high school, you think that, you think you actually might know something, and it turns out you get your first job, and you basically don't know crap. And you go to college, you get a 4-year degree, if that's what you chose to do. You get out, you get your first job, you don't know crap. And I've actually just started a new career after 15 years in the banking industry, and I'm 48 years old, I don't know crap. And so because of that, I have a lot of questions. I mean, I have questions for crying out loud, and maybe you guys have the same questions, or better yet, maybe you guys actually have answers for me to my questions. But I have questions like this. What do people in China call their good plates? What hair color do they put on the driver's license of a bald man? I mean, I'm going to want to know that. Jeff, what do they put on?
It says bald now.
It says bald? Why didn't Noah swat those 2 mosquitoes? Why doesn't glue stick to the inside of the bottle? Why are there flotation devices in the seats of planes instead of parachutes? And you know that indestructible black box that's in airplanes? How come they don't make the whole airplane out of that stuff? If 7-Eleven is open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, why does it have locks on its doors? Why is it that when you transport something by car, it's called a shipment? When you transport something by ship, it's called cargo. Why don't sheep shrink when it rains? This will make everyone think. Why is a bra singular and panties plural? Why are hemorrhoids called hemorrhoids and asteroids called asteroids? Wouldn't it make more sense if they turned those words around? In closing, I guess I would just want to add a couple things, and maybe on a serious note. But I did mention that I did change professions for myself. About 9 months ago, I went to work for Thrivent Financial, and so I sit down with people and we talk about their retirement needs, their estate planning, some protection products that they may need. And when we sit down, as I usually ask them something, as I say, what are your greatest assets? And they say, Craig, I mean, it varies, but they say, Craig, my greatest assets are my house, my bank accounts, my earning potential, my land, my stocks, my bonds, my IRA, my 401k. Those are probably my greatest assets. And I say, no, they're not. Is that your greatest assets is your health, your soul, your faith, your family, and your friends. All things that you got for free. That all of the money in the world can't replace any of those things that you lose that you got for free. Your houses, your bank accounts, I mean, you can get a house burned down, rebuild it up. You can make $1 million, you can lose it, you can earn it all back. But you lose any of those things that you got for free, and you can never replace them. So I think as a class of 81 looks forward to the next page in their life, we don't know where that next chapter goes, that I want everyone to try to strive to be the best you can be towards all the things that you got for free. So with that, folks, I just want to say that I enjoyed being up here tonight, and for the rest of the evening, certainly mingle amongst yourself, enjoy, and God bless the class of 1981. Thank you.